Okay, in the world of self-help, there are some names that are just legendary. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the hidden architect behind so many of them, the man who literally taught the gurus. Let's dive in.
So you know these faces, right? They're titans. They've shaped how millions, maybe even you, think about success. But what if I told you that a huge chunk of their core philosophy, the very ideas that made them household names, can all be traced back to one single man, writing over 100 years ago? And we're not just talking about some minor influence here. No way. This is like finding the source code for so much of modern self-improvement. He really was the guru behind the gurus.
His name was Wallace D. Wattles. Born way back in 1860, his early life was, well, it was tough. It was what they called a hard scrabble existence. He knew poverty, he knew failure up close and personal, which makes his transformation from a life of lack to a philosopher of abundance just all the more incredible.
His own daughter, Florence, said it best. She said her father lived every page of his work, and that's so key. This wasn't just some abstract theory for him. It was a real, practical system that he tested on himself to pull his own family out of hardship. He was living proof that his ideas actually worked.
So, how'd he do it? What was this big, transformative system? Well, Wattles was super clear about this. This wasn't magic, it wasn't just wishful thinking. He saw his philosophy as a practical science, a reliable, repeatable process for creating a life of abundance.
He called it acting in a certain way. And the core idea here was pretty radical for the early 1900s. He basically said that success isn't some lottery reserved for a lucky few. He believed that getting rich, or being healthy, or achieving greatness were exact sciences, just like algebra or arithmetic. Anyone, and he meant anyone, who learned to think and act according to these universal laws could achieve their goals.
And this is why he feels so relevant right now. In our world of constant hustle, burnout, and that endless comparison game on social media, Wattles' philosophy offers this mindful, intentional path. It's not about grinding yourself into the ground. It's about working with precision, with purpose.
So let's get into the blueprint, the nuts and bolts. Wattles' entire science of success really boils down to 4 foundational principles, and they all have to work together. Let's break them down.
First up, and this is probably the most famous one, is thought. Wattles taught that everything begins with a clear mental image. You have to know exactly what you want and then hold that vision in your mind with absolute, unwavering faith. Your thoughts, he said, are literally the seeds you plant for your future reality. Vague hopes, they get you nowhere. A sharp, focused vision is where it all starts.
But of course, just thinking isn't enough. That brings us to principle number 2, action. And his instruction here was so simple, yet so powerful. He said, just do the work that's right in front of you today, and do it as efficiently and purposefully as you can. Forget about frantic rushing, forget about worrying about tomorrow, just focus on doing each small task perfectly. It's those small, steady steps that build the bridge to that grand vision you're holding.
Number 3 is gratitude. Now for Wattles, gratitude wasn't just some nice, fluffy feeling. He saw it as a powerful, practical tool. A grateful mind, he argued, actually connects you to the creative forces of the universe. It shifts your entire perspective from a state of what I don't have to what I do have, from scarcity to plenty. And that shift is what attracts more good stuff into your life.
And finally, the 4th principle, which might be his most profound and challenging idea, creation. He was adamant that true wealth comes from adding value to the world, creating something new, not from simply trying to beat someone else in a zero-sum game.
In this contrast is everything, really. The competitive mindset is all about scarcity. It's this idea that there's one limited pie, and you've got to fight like crazy for your slice. But the creative mindset, it operates from a place of abundance. It believes the pie is infinite. So your goal isn't to take from others, it's to bake more pies for everyone. It is a fundamental shift in how you see the entire world.
And here it is, straight from the man himself. You are to become a creator, not a competitor. Just let that sink in. This single idea challenges so much of what we're taught about success, and it's a huge reason why his philosophy has stuck around for so long.
Okay, so now we get to the really fascinating part, the incredible, kind of hidden influence of his work. His ideas didn't just vanish after he died in 1911. Oh no, they started a ripple effect that we are still feeling today. I mean, just look at this. You can see the idea ripple through the century. It all starts in 1910 with Wattles' little book. Then boom, nearly 30 years later, you can see its DNA all over Napoleon Hill's masterpiece. A few more decades go by, and you hear the echo in Joseph Murphy's work, until it just explodes back into pop culture in 2006 with The Secret. It's a clear, unbroken thread leading right back to Wallace D. Wattles.
And it's not a stretch. Napoleon Hill reportedly devoured Wattles' work. Rhonda Byrne, the creator of The Secret, called his book her lifeline and the direct inspiration. Legends like Bob Proctor built their entire careers teaching these exact principles. And even giants like Tony Robbins were heavily influenced by mentors who came from this same school of thought. Wattles is the silent architect behind the whole modern success movement.
So why? Why did his ideas have such staying power? I think this quote just captures it perfectly. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. He completely reframed self-improvement. It's not a selfish act. It's a gift to humanity. Your success, your growth, it contributes to the whole. Now that's a powerful idea. So, we've gone through the history, we've talked about the philosophy, but at the end of the day, the most important question is, what does this mean for you? How can you actually apply this century-old wisdom to your life right now?
All right, here's a simple playbook. Step 1, get a crystal clear vision. Don't just want a better job. Define the role, the company, the salary. Get specific. 2, take efficient action today. Maybe that just means completing one task with total focus instead of multitasking on 10. 3, practice daily gratitude. Make a list every morning to shift your mind from what's missing to what's already there. And finally, step 4, give more than you take. Adopt that creative mindset. How can you over-deliver on your next project instead of just hitting the minimum?
This quote right here, this is the ultimate summary of his whole system. It's a two-part formula, plain and simple. The vision, the mindset, the faith, that's the thought that brings the opportunity to you. But then you have to meet it with purposeful effort. That's the action through which you actually receive it. You have to think it, and then you have to do it.
You know, if there's one single thing to take away from the life and work of Wallace D. Wattles, it's this powerful truth. You are not stuck. Your current circumstances do not have to define your future. By thinking with clarity, acting with boldness, and approaching the world with generosity, you can absolutely create the life you envision.
And so we're going to end with the only question that really matters, the one Wallace D. Wattles would probably ask you himself. So what's your mental picture? What's the vision you're holding on to right now? Because whatever it is, you're already on your way to creating it.